It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Radio Network all across the United States of America. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville, where it's a frigid, what is it, 7 degrees, 8 degrees, 9 degrees? It's pretty cold here. What a day. Well, folks, it is time for the morning rundown, brought to you by the Glock Store, which is located just a few miles from the airport right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Glockstore.com for all of your Glock parts and accessory needs. All right, here we go. It's the morning rundown for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. I did it right. Here we go. Number one, day 2 of the golden age of America. Actually, this is the first full 24 hours of Trump 47. But he got so much action into yesterday's 12 hours, we are calling yesterday day 1. Number 2, we're going to go through all of the actions that Donald Trump did yesterday. Wait for it. Buckle up. In 12 hours, here we go. 41 executive orders and 200 executive actions in 12 hours. This was Trump's day yesterday. Breakfast with his family, a church service at St. John's Episcopal Church, his inaugural address, which was one of the best ever, one extra speech to the overflow crowd, then a speech at a rally, the Capital One rally, where there were 20,000 people, where he also watched the parade, and here are our Stevens Creek band from Rutherford County was there. Congratulations, well done. Then at the rally, he signed some of his executive orders. Then he went to the White House. And he went into the Oval Office. He brought in like the pool of 7 or 8 reporters, which included Peter the Younger, from, it was crazy, from Fox News. And as he's signing executive orders, he does a press conference. It's just great. We got clips of it. Peter Doocy, we'll see what Peter asked him and his response. It was hilarious. Then, wait, there was more. Then the NCAA College Football Championship was yesterday. At halftime, there's an address by Donald Trump to the nation. It was live. He said, well, this is what happened in the first half, and we're going to make America great again. Oh, this is crazy. By the way, Ohio State, congratulations. They won 34-23 over Notre Dame. Notre Dame played well, but Ohio State was a better team. There's no question about that. Then, the day wasn't over. Trump went to 3 inaugural balls. Oh, my goodness. What a day. What a day. Number 3, let's talk about, let me make a correction. It was Stewart's Creek High School. Stewart's Creek, not Stevens Creek. Stewart's Creek High School in Rutherford County. Apologies to everybody who is from Stewart's Creek High School. Number 3, let's talk about the executive orders. Trump pardoned or commuted sentences of everyone charged or convicted on J6. That was 1,500 pardons and 14 commutations. And our good friend Tennesseans Stuart Parks and I think Colt Maccabee were pardoned. Colt was actually in prison. I think was either released last night, or will be released today. Our journalist friend Steve Baker was also pardoned. Good for him. And we'll have a little bit more on that. We're trying to reach Stuart Parks. He's on a plane right now. And so we'll talk to Stuart a little bit about his reaction. Number 4, he declared here's the other stuff. He declared a national emergency at the southern border, withdrew from the World Health Organization, withdrew from the Paris Climate Accords, established the Department of Government Efficiencies, ordered all federal employees back to work in their offices, removed the security clearance of those 51 national security, quote, experts who lied and said that Hunter's laptop was Russian disinformation, and he removed the security clearance of John Bolton. That was all in 12 hours. What is going to happen the next 24 hours? And last item for the morning rundown. Last night, the Senate confirmed unanimously Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. This morning, we'll have the clip of that. J.D. Vance, Vice President Vance, in his first official act, swore in Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. So I guess maybe Trump will have a cabinet meeting. He and Marco Rubio will have breakfast this morning, and that will be the first cabinet meeting. We'll see. All right, there you go. That's the morning rundown for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Now, this is where I talk about my friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. I've got some exciting news. One of the things that people love about the Glock Store is their recurring gun giveaway sweepstakes. Just since last October, 8 lucky people have won the factory stock Glock of their choice just for entering the sweepstakes. Well, now we're in sweepstakes number 9, the Abominable Sweepstakes. The entry period started this past Wednesday and will end on Wednesday, January 29th at midnight. So that's 2 weeks. Short entry periods mean less entries, which means a better chance for you to be a winner. You really should go and enter right now. To find out how, just go to glockstore.com/TAS, as in the Abominable Sweepstakes, for complete entry instructions. No purchase is necessary to enter, and there's even a way to be auto-entered multiple times. That's from my good friend, Lanny McGill, giving back to the Glock community by giving away Glocks. Yeah, that's a Glock Store thing, and we are proud to be sponsored by them. That's glockstore.com/TAS for your chance to win the factory stock Glock of your choice. Well, there you go. Okay, so let's go right to the news of the day. Clip 26, J.D. Vance swears in Marco Rubio as Donald Trump's Secretary of State. Let's go with that.
So, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Marco Rubio,
I, Marco Rubio,
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help you God. Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
So unlike Nervous Nelly, Chief Justice John Roberts, the Bible there was in the hands of Rubio's wife, and Justice Roberts goofed that up yesterday. All right, let's go quickly to Peter Ducey. Let's go to that clip. This is hilarious. Clip 13 at the Oval Office.
President Trump, did President Biden leave you a letter?
He may have. Wait. Don't they leave it in the desk? I don't know. Oh.
What's in there?
Thank you, Peter. It could have been years before we got it. Wow. Thank you.
Can you read it on the outside?
Maybe we should all read it together.
Let's read it.
Well, maybe I'll read it first and then make that determination.
That sounds great.
Peter, thank you very much. I may not have seen this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
I did. I left him one in the desk just like this.
What are you talking about with him?
Okay, let's go. That's a little bit of theater, all right, because Trump knows where the letter is because he left one 4 years ago for Biden. Hey, when we come back, Stuart Parks just got pardoned by the president, and he's going to talk about it with us. He's in Washington, D.C. right now on a plane, but he's going to talk with us because he's our good friend. Back with Stuart Parks after this.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are joined on our Newsmaker line right now by our very good friend, Stuart Parks, who was unjustly convicted of several J6 misdemeanors and served more than 6 months in a medium security federal prison in Memphis, Tennessee. Was released in August and has been pardoned by the president. Congratulations on your pardon, Stuart.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Now, how did you learn of your pardon?
I'm still in a state of shock. Last night, I'm on the way. I was in Washington, D.C. for the Trump inaugural event, and at 8:59 p.m. Eastern Time last night, my criminal defense attorney, who represented me during my 3-day trial in D.C., called me to formally notify me that I had been included in a January 6th full pardon, and that I would be receiving a certificate documenting this.
Stuart, how did you feel at that moment?
It moved so quick. I mean, we trust President Trump. I mean, he's a man of his word, man of integrity, and we knew he's very serious about it. I'm in a state of shock that the same day, moments after he sworn in, everything just disappeared. Like the harsh, criminal, unjust sentence that was imposed on me just vanished overnight. Now, there's no record of it happening. I mean, it's completely gone. How it's been described to me, how this pardon takes place. So I'm still in a state of shock.
Now, right after you got that news, I understand you drove up to Philadelphia because there's another Tennessean who was convicted for J6 offenses. Was this Tennessean in prison, or where was this person?
Yes, so he was in FDC, a federal detention center in Philadelphia, and he has a wonderful backing. His precious wife had reached out to me after learning that I'd be in the area around the time of the pardon, and she asked me to help facilitate the transportation of Joshua Dale from Philadelphia back to his home in Jefferson City, Tennessee. And, there was a lot of emotions last night because everywhere around the country, January 6th, inmates were being released, on time and so forth. But Philadelphia, for whatever reason, slow walked this thing. And again, it's just highly unusual. I'm still seeing things about inmates hadn't been released from the Washington, D.C. jail. So again, a lot of emotions last night, but we were able to pick him up.
So let's just for a moment, let's talk through that. Yeah. So you get the call from your defense attorney at 8:59 that you've been pardoned. Then did you get a call from, it's Joshua Dell? Do I have his name correct?
Joshua Dell. So his wife had been marvelous in making, keeping me updated. And again, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of fake news trying to demoralize us and saying that, only a certain amount of people are going to be pardoned and this and that. We had to, fight all that and say, no, everybody's being pardoned. So anyway, my criminal defense attorney contacted me 8:59 p.m., formally notifies me. Then my appeal attorney, just being good-hearted, she notifies me. So they're calling me up while I'm on the way to the Philadelphia prison.
So hold on. How did you decide to go to the Philadelphia prison?
So his wife had been messaging me, very concerned about Joshua Dale possibly being dumped, without any transportation. And, it's the weather's horrible. You all saw where,
sure.
That it had to be moved indoors. So, very harsh conditions. So she'd been hinting at me that he may be released Monday night. It was unknown. Like it was a risk going to Philadelphia and he not be released.
So and how did you, when did you tell her, Joshua Dale's wife, that you were going to go to Philadelphia and pick up her husband? What time of day did you tell her that?
This had to have been, let me think. That's a very good question. It was sometime around when Trump was at the arena and he had made it clear that all January 6 people were going to be pardoned and so forth. So by then I left D.C. and made my way to Philadelphia.
So how did you go from D.C. to Philadelphia? So this must have been 5 or 6 o'clock. You were anticipating a pardon?
Yes, sir.
So,
and again, I was very concerned about him being released in the dangerous environment in Philadelphia, by himself in the harsh cold.
Sure. Now, did you have a rental car? Did you have a car? Did you have How did you get there?
Yes, sir. So I had a rental car that I rented from the airport.
Okay, so what time did you arrive at the Philadelphia Detention Center?
Let me think. It was sometime before midnight. I believe it was 10:45, 11 p.m. Eastern time last
Okay,
night.
so you're there. Has Joshua Dell been released by that time?
No, sir. Him and the other, that facility had male and female January 6th inmates, and nobody had been released. And the guard just wasn't talking to us. They did not want
So
to
describe.
indicate.
So describe. You arrived there at the Federal Detention Center of Philadelphia. It was kind of a bleak place, as they all are, right?
Very depressing. Very. It's a ghost town. Nobody's out.
So you get out. How is there a door to knock on? What do you do? Knock, knock, knock. I'm here to pick up Joshua.
Well, that particular facility is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Most prisons is kind of like where I was in Memphis, where it's giant barbed wire. You go through guard towers, so forth, get to the door. With this particular, it's just a tower essentially. Downtown Nashville, there's no yard, and so anyway, banged on the door.
Downtown Philadelphia.
Downtown Philadelphia. Yes,
you
sir.
banged on the door at what time?
It was around, again, right when I arrived, 10:45, 11, because, again, we're trying to notify
Is it like,
the
is
guards.
it a big door with, or is it just a regular door?
Oh, no, I mean, it's, big security doors,
So you-
glass.
So you knock on the door. What's the temperature there outside? You're pretty cold.
It's extremely cold.
Okay, so there you are, all bundled up, freezing
Mm-hmm.
at 10:45 Eastern. You're in front of the prison door. You knock on the door. What happens next?
So there's a long delay, and again, I'm getting frustrated, and we hear through the loudspeaker a guard, brazenly ask, "You knocked on the door. What do you want?" Not polite. Hey, how you doing? Yeah,
When you
I'm serious.
when you say we here, who else was with you?
So again, the January 6th community, there were, I guess you could say, people that were fans of the January 6th inmates that were there. They were very, very concerned about their safety. So they were there. Families of the inmates being released, they were there.
So how many people were knocking on the door with you?
I would say, myself included, about 10 people.
So it's like a scene from The Wizard of Oz, right? Knock, knock, knock.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
So finally, what do you want? And then what do you say?
Well, we say all the January 6th people, and I say I'm here to pick up Joshua Dell, and all the January 6th people are here. They've been fully pardoned. Let them go. And they basically just say they're in processing. We can't let them go. And it's the same.
Were you waiting outside? How long did you wait outside in the cold?
You mean how until they were released?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's extremely cold, so we get frustrated, and so I go back and message the family, and I tell them, like, hey, they're still in processing. The guards aren't letting them, and I tell them they're slow walking this thing because other inmates have already been released.
Sure.
On celebrating with their family. So again, it wasn't until I think about 2, 3 a.m. We sat in the car.
You sat in the car. How did you know that Joshua was released?
Well, again, this is kind of a embarrassing story on my part. So I kind of drifted off to sleep in the passenger seat, and all of a sudden I get elbowed, and my friend in the driver's seat says, "Hey, look, there he is." So I spring into action, run out.
So he walks out the door at 2 a.m.
Yes, I couldn't believe it. Like they just let him.
He just
go,
walks out. So
yeah, with the guard. Yeah, they let him and a whole bunch of January 6th inmates out at one time. And
so
I'm in a state of
you
shock.
go and does he know you're there?
His wife had. I guess during one of the prison phone calls that was changed, she said that, hey, Stewart Park may be picking you up. So she had warned him.
Was he
back,
looking
but he
for
didn't
you?
know what it looked like.
He didn't know
He
what
didn't
you
know
looked like.
Exactly.
So what happened? Did you identify yourself, and how happy was he to see you?
Well, again, I don't know what he looks like either. So I go to another inmate and then shaking his hand saying, "Are you Joshua Dell?" And the guy yells, "Hey, Joshua!" And down the street, Joshua turns around and runs back towards us. And he's like, "Are you Stewart Park?" And then we hug and we.
He
celebrate.
runs. This is like a scene from a movie.
I'm not. I can't believe this took place less than 24 hours ago. You're right.
So then you get in the car with him and you drive off, and now you take him to D.C. and you're about to come back to Nashville, and he's going to see
Yes,
his
sir.
wife today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have footage of him actually leaving his flight before mine, and he's never flown, never been on a plane before, and we bought him
Wow.
a ticket because
So, Stuart, if
pretty
you
much-
would, text me some pictures, and we'll do a story
Yes,
on
sir.
it. And
Yes,
text
sir.
me right after we get off here. Stuart, I am so happy for you. Have you ever been happier in your life?
Oh my God! It's like a weight been lifted off my shoulder. Like I'm still in a state of shock. I'm extremely happy. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Lord. I mean, I'm so happy right now. Yes, sir.
Well, you're a good man, Stuart, and you were unjustly convicted, unjustly imprisoned for more than 6 months, and we have documented your struggle, and now you are a free man, A, and B, you have been pardoned, and this crime, alleged crime, never happened. Congratulations, Stuart. I am beyond happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Stuart Parks, a free man, escorting another free man to see his wife in East Tennessee. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us. Well, the more we get back, Tom Zalestowski joins us. Back after this.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul-off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We welcome to our Zoom Newsmaker line right now Tom Zalastowski, a great Tea Party leader from Ohio, our very good friend, the president founder of the We the People Convention. Tom, those 12 hours yesterday from noon to midnight, we sure packed a lot of punch into it with Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of the United States, didn't we?
Wow. Michael, who is Donald Trump? Where does he get the energy? I was exhausted.
I'm watching him
dancing at midnight, and I'm going, I've been in my bed, barely awake for 3 hours. But what a great day. Oh, my goodness gracious. Promises made, promises kept. We are so thankful to God Almighty for allowing us, the opportunity to save our nation and elect President Trump, and for him to save Donald Trump's life so that we can start to get back to common sense, right, Michael? Back to common sense.
So you use the phrase promises made, promises kept. My very close friend, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, sent me an email this morning, and about 10,000 other journalists. And it said that promises made, promises kept, and it literally outlined the 41 executive orders that were signed yesterday. Incredible.
I just spent an hour trying to put that on a web page, on a website. It's so extensive, but it's so exciting because it's just everything we want, Michael. Everything. So, again, and what's he going to do today, right? I just love it. It's just amazing.
You see, that's the great thing about Trump. What's he going to do today? Though I have to tell you, though, Tom, in a way, if you look at that, I suppose you could say that yesterday from noon to midnight, you could say to a degree was 16 and a half years in the making. And what I mean by that, if you look at the Tea Party movement, it sort of began in September of 2008.
That's
when
right.
George W. Bush did those ridiculous bailouts for Wall Street. And it was at that moment where, average Americans looked around and said, what is going on here? And then, of course, I think you could also say the precision of those 12 hours yesterday, with 41 executive orders prepared and signed, and I guess there were like another 200 executive actions yesterday prepared and signed. But that was, I suppose you could say, it was like 4 years in the making, right? Because
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it also reflects his experience from the first time around and the caliber of the people around him now. It's impressive. This is, I know Jordan Peterson, called, the RFK Jr. and Vance and all those guys, like Marvel's, America team around Trump. But this, I think, is the greatest number of the most talented people around a president, maybe in U.S. history. It's unbelievably assuring to us that they can get it done because they've got the best people trying to get it done.
Marco Rubio was confirmed unanimously by the Senate, 99-0 yesterday. And
I think Radcliffe's coming today, and I mean, they're moving fast. Even Congress is moving fast. If that's not a miracle, what is?
As you were, a couple of things to talk about yesterday. Let me just talk about what I think was emblematic of the golden age of America in which we have entered yesterday. And it was really, and as a Tennessean, I have to have a little bit of state pride in this. It was actually right after Donald Trump's 29-minute, 48-second inaugural address, which I thought was one of the best ever. Carrie Underwood, who's a Tennessean, was asked to sing America the Beautiful. And there was supposed to be some musical accompaniment to this. And I don't know if it was a recording or whatever it was. But they had a technical glitch. This is so can-do American. So the administrative person walked up to her, and there's big crowds there in the Capitol Rotunda. And they say, we can't play the music. And she smiles and says, I'll just sing it. A cappella, there was no more electric moment in dozens and dozens and dozens of electric moments than that minute of Carrie Underwood singing and leading all of those 600 or so people in the rotunda in America the Beautiful. That captures the dawn of the new golden age of America, it seems to me. Your thoughts, Tom Zawistowski?
Well, I think, Michael, there you have it. It's individual Americans doing what they need to do without the help of the state, right?
Yeah.
The people running the music were the state. Kerry represents average Americans. And what Donald Trump is doing with these executive orders is getting the government the hell out of our way. Let Americans just run their lives, and the government should just, defend the country, pave the roads, and make sure we have water and electricity. Other than that, get out of our lives. And this is what common sense means, and this is what Donald Trump is doing. Nothing that he signed, your audience, go to WeThePeopleConvention.org and click on that article and just scroll through it. There's not a single thing you'd go, well, I don't like that, or geez, that doesn't make sense. You like it all, because you know what? We have met the enemy, and it is us.
Well,
we have been standing in our own way, and now we're not. We're getting out of the way.
It's the declining element of us. I mean, it's, again, the new
elites.
The golden age. A couple little things to talk about that, and we'll get to. I want to talk about the soaring rhetoric of that fantastic inaugural address in a moment, but just a couple little things. The regime media does not understand they no longer matter. I'll give you two examples of that. So the New York Times decided to pan that fabulous speech, and they called it, what was it, terrible speech 2.0, or angry,
divisive or whatever, all that crap.
But just to tell you what to indicate how they don't get it. So they send out the email with, this was a terrible speech. It's behind a paywall. You can't read it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
You guys have
It's
missed
amazing.
it. Then
Listen,
in the rally,
Michael, we just said a story on our podcast Saturday, which I did not realize this. The Washington Post has lost 90% of its audience after the quote unquote insurrection of January 2021. They had 22.5 million daily readers. Right now, they have 2.5 million. No one cares what they say. And that's why Washington isn't standing in the way of President Trump.
Right.
That's why Congress is acting quickly, because there's no one to shame them and say, we'll put you in the Washington Post and ruin your career if you support that evil Donald Trump. That's gone. And Michael, your show did that. And the Tennessee Star and the Ohio Star did that. And Steve Bannon and Tom Zalesowski's podcast. This was years in the making, but wow, doesn't free speech do amazing things?
Yeah, January 2025 is so very different from January 2017 for any number of reasons. The other example so Elon Musk was very excited, and you saw in the inaugural address when he said, when Trump said, we are going to carry American manifest destiny to the stars, and we are going to plant the stars and stripes on Mars. And you saw Elon Musk, giddy like a kid at Christmas.
He's just a big kid.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
So,
even though he's the richest man in the world.
So then he goes to the rally afterwards at the Capital One arena, and he makes a symbol. He uses a gesture to basically, he's saying, I am sharing my heart with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But PBS and all the other things, that's a Nazi symbol. What idiot. That little tiny ridiculosity, you like that word? Ridiculosity that's where they're stuck. They're stuck in 2018. The clock has been ticking, and they're not moving. Your thoughts?
But it's to our advantage. We should pay them to keep doing this stupid stuff because people, you saw the articles in the last week about leftists and actors and stuff who finally watched the statement by Trump about the good people on both sides, and were just appalled that they were lied to, and they believed it for years. That is what the momentum is on our side, because when MSLSD or the Clinton, crime network, puts on these ridiculous statements, no one but the mentally ill are watching care.
We have 1 minute left, Tom. What was your favorite phrase from the inaugural address?
I think that God saved me to make America great. I think that's the truth. I think that's what Manifest Destiny is about. I think that's what America's about, and it was very powerful.
God saved me to make America great again. That's what he said. Very powerful. Tom, congratulations on 16 and a half years of work. Well done.
You and me, brother. we did it, Michael. We did it. Thank you for all you've done. All your listeners, thank you for what you did too. We did it, folks. Celebrate.
Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week.
Up
next, we're going to talk. We got some clips, all sorts of great clips. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. We'll be back after this.
Hey, I'm Governor Bill Lee, and I want to talk to you about an important education bill in Tennessee. Everyone knows that education has the power to change the trajectory of a child's life forever. And anyone who's raised a child knows that each one's different in their educational needs, and their learning styles, and their talents. The fact is, parents know their own children best. They know what's best for their education and their future. That's why I'm here to talk to you about Tennessee's Education Freedom Act. It empowers parents across our state to use their tax dollars to choose the school that allows their child to thrive, regardless of zip code or income, all while making significant investments in Tennessee's public education. If you want to learn how you can help make the Education Freedom Act a reality in Tennessee, go to educationfreedomact.com and write or call your state representatives. It's educationfreedomact.com.
This ad is paid for by Job Creators Network.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, our newest all-star panelist and official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, E.J. Haast.
Hello, hello.
I
Happiest of days.
I don't think I've seen that. You always smile. You're always cheery. But I don't think I've seen such a happy smile
I can't stop. I can't stop. In fact, I posted on X last night, like, my face hurts. I'm smiling and laughing so much. We watched the whole thing from beginning to end, and then rewound it and watched a whole bunch of it again.
So you started at 11 a.m. Central Time.
Oh, like 8 a.m.
Oh,
9 a.m. Yeah,
you watched the whole day.
Yeah, I watched the whole day. I mean, I had it on in the background. I do have real work job things to do, but yeah, we had it on all day.
So much happened yesterday. I think I've heard Donald Trump in 12 hours as president accomplished more than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Well, more for the good. I mean, Joe Biden accomplished quite a lot with all his pardons
Negative
in the
stuff.
last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
The sabotage in the last 3-4 weeks of the presidency was outrageous.
I think it was emblematic that the last pardon, Trump didn't know that as the last pardon of all of his siblings, Biden's siblings, who are all a part of his allegedly part of his crime family.
Yeah, I mean, they could make a series more intense than The Sopranos with that family.
So apparently that was made official like about 11:50 a.m.
Yeah, it was like 10, 15 minutes before.
So Trump then gets sworn in, and then he's giving his speech, which was a stellar speech. We've got all sorts of clips from that.
The best.
Written by Stephen Miller, by the way, who did I knew it had the hallmark of a Stephen Miller speech, but it was just spectacular. But Trump didn't know that Crooked Joe had pardoned. He knew he'd pardoned Milley and Fauci and Liz Cheney in the morning, but he saved the worst for last.
Right.
And Trump didn't know until he was asked later about those pardons.
Two things about this. One, they rode in the same vehicle to the event. Joe didn't think to say anything. You know why he didn't? Because he didn't even know he did it. I don't think Joe was aware at all, but Jill knew, and she definitely didn't.
She didn't say
Melania,
anything to Melania,
right? So that's interesting. The other thing about Jill is, where's her pardon? If I'm Jill right now, I'm like, hey, did somebody forget a name on that list?
Well, this is interesting because the whole thing about pardons, and the whole thing about pardons is that I was talking with Lonnie Spivak, who is the chairman of the Davidson County Republican Party, and it was interesting. There is a Supreme Court precedent.
Okay.
A 1915 case, Burdick v. United States. The Supreme Court ruled that accepting a presidential pardon implicitly admits guilt.
Yes, I did see that yesterday. I'm glad you brought the receipts for that because I wasn't sure if that was valid or not. I saw someone posting about it. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I mean, it's implied anyway, right? I mean, I think if you accept the pardon, it means, I probably need a pardon. I think that's just common, common sense, common knowledge, like just common thought. But yeah, I like that you brought the receipts there with the Supreme Court precedents.
There's some counter arguments to it. This is from our friend at Grok.
Of course.
As you know. I'll just read Grok. Despite the Supreme Court's Grok is AI, guys. It's
the XAI.
Elon Musk's AI. Despite the Supreme Court's interpretation, there are counter arguments. Some legal scholars argue that a pardon can be seen more as an act of mercy or political strategy rather than strict legal admission of guilt. For instance, President Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon was framed as an action to heal the nation rather than an acknowledgement of Nixon's guilt, though it was widely interpreted as such. Look, here's the thing, because I'm doing this night law school thing.
Yeah.
And basically, when the Supreme Court talks through its opinions, that is considered the law.
Right.
And so any law professor, anybody can argue, well, X, Y, or Z, or the Supreme Court really didn't mean that. Well, yeah, it meant it. So I would say the preponderance of the evidence, if you accept a presidential pardon, that is an admission of guilt.
Yeah, yeah.
And so look at all the people who admitted they're guilty. Hunter Biden, all of Joe Biden's siblings, Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Anthony Fauci, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Jamie Raskin, Adam Kinzinger, go down the list.
Tons. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to see all of them just have to live with that questionable, was I not guilty, right? Like, I like that for the rest of their lives, they will have to defend, well, it doesn't mean I was guilty.
Senator Adam Schiff.
Yeah, Adam Schiff.
Has accepted a pardon.
Who should be removed now as he accepted a pardon, which, like you said, admission of guilt, he should be removed from every single committee he is on.
I like that. I like your strategy. I will have highlights from Carrie Underwood singing. We'll have highlights of President Trump's speech, inaugural address when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. She's E.J. Host. It's a great day in America. It's a golden age.
Golden age.
Day 2. Back after this.